Hey everybody, it's Chris here at Blue Ridge Racing down here in Georgia. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's Friday, end of the week. And for this video, I thought we'd run some Jag Hobbies chassis. I wanted to show you the three that I currently use and kind of why I do. You know, there's some great aftermarket chassis out there. Viper, Bulldog, a few others, and I have those as well. But I started using Jag Hobbies when I found out that they had a inline motor chassis with great downforce that would fit the old Aurora Thunderjet bodies, because I had a lot of these leftover bodies from all the stuff I got from my brother-in-law. So I made up a bunch of chassis for most of them, but I wanted to run some and have them run pretty well. So I discovered Jag Hobbies. So I'm going to start off with the one I use for Thunderjet bodies, which is called a TR3. And the first one I had, I bought one of their cars. And this is one of the Jag Hobbies cars. So their body, I think it's a Corvette. I'm not really sure, but I think so. Anyway, here's the chassis. And it screws onto a T-Jet body. Got a rear screw back here and a front screw. And they're always improving these chassis. So I'm talking with Jim last week via email. This chassis now has the guide pin moved forward to give it a better stance on the track. I haven't seen how he did it yet because I don't have one. But just an example of the cars I've been putting these on. Here's an old model motoring GTO. Beautiful car when I don't drop it. And there the chassis fits in nicely. And if you ever come across a T-Jet body and you want to put a chassis on like this, I get the ones with chrome wheels. And let's say the rear tires hit. I put a little rubber O-ring behind this rear screw between the post and the chassis, and it pushes it down enough for the wheels to clear. So that's kind of fun way to do it. Here's an old Ford GT from the 60s. Aurora model motoring. This one already had hacked up wheel wells on it. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to put an original chassis on that. I cleaned them up with a Dremel grinder. And this has no posts, no windshield. And I put a TR3 on there. It's a fast little car, good for racing. Then the other chassis I use is called an NC2. And it fits, when I'm not dropping the cars, it fits Auto World and AFX. So here's an Auto World car from Pro Tinker Toys. And it's got an NC2 chassis on it. Let me pop this off for you. So what you got here is the inline chassis with what they call an AFX clip, which also works on Auto World bodies. So that's kind of cool. So this came with it was a pit kit, and you build up an extraction chassis, which, as most of us know, extraction chassis aren't always the best chassis out there. I don't know how else to put it. But here is an extra body I had because I needed the chassis. And it's got one of those Jag Hobby chassis in it. And then the other one I use is called a a DK4. And so here was a really nice body, 60s model motoring that I got from that stuff from my brother-in-law. I put a driver and a head in it, had the windshield. And this is like a T-Jet chassis with a canned motor in it. And the real skinny tires, the little skinny profile tires. And it runs pretty good. This is just a base model. They have one that's a little bit more hopped up. And the improvement they made to that chassis is they added a motor magnet to it. So it'd be the equivalent of a Auto World T-Jet chassis with the Ultra magnet in it, only in one with a canned motor and the skinny tires. So that works out pretty well. And then their other chassis, they have what's called a DR1, and it's a replacement 4-gear chassis for the 4-gear bodies. Again, inline motor. And he's made some advancements in that chassis in the fact that he uses his hop-up base chassis for that now with pockets for pickup magnets, or, downforce magnets. So they're constantly trying to improve their chassis, and that's why I use them. And I'm going to tell you the other reason I use them is their chassis, the TR3, which fits Aurora and Auto World T-Jet bodies, is $23.50. So below $25. The other chassis that fits the old Aurora model motor with the skinny tires, the DK4, that's under $20. And the NC2 that fits the Auto World and AFX bodies with those type of body mounts, it is under $25 as well. With the other ones all being $35 or more, for just average everyday used cars, this gives you a lot of speed, some great functionality. They stay on the track and run extremely well for a very reasonable price. So for those of you that are looking to swap out some chassis, Jag Hobbies is a pretty good place. All right, so now we're going to run a few of these cars. So I'm going to start off with the old Aurora skinny tire one. And we're running at 15 volts. And I'll just show you how they go around a little bit. Let me adjust my controller. Up the ohms a little bit for these type chassis. And they do slip and slide with these little skinny tires, but you know what? You can bring some old bodies back to life if you don't have the opportunity and the parts to build up an old 3-gear style chassis like used to be under these things. So there's the Thunderbird. I tell you what, you're hard pressed to go that long with an Auto World and not have it fall off the track. I hate to bash them, but it's just the way it is. All right, so here's the NC2 chassis that you can put on Auto World and Extraction. Auto World and AFX. And see how quick that one is. It's a great inline motor chassis. It's very similar to the Tyco Magnum 440s, not the X2, 440s. Very similar. There it is with the auto world body. Here it is with an AFX body. Oh, got stuck up against the guardrail. You're gonna have to fix that guardrail. Yep, you're gonna have to fix that guardrail. Okay. Enough of that one. All right, now let's run the TR3, which I have more of these than anything else. You can just hear the power in those things. This is an old Aurora model motoring Ford GT. And I tell you, on my track here, this Giant Raceway, only 2 cars have gone below 6 seconds. And that's the TR3 and the Viper, custom one I have. And yes, you can fly them off. This is a car I made for my wife. I bought a resin Jaguar body, and I mentioned it in another video. She was spoiled. Her first car was a Jaguar. Her dad was an OBGYN up in West Virginia. This car runs great. And then here I took an Auto World Thunderjet and took its chassis out. And this is a 59 Bel Air. And I can tell you the chassis that was in there didn't run like this. That's for darn sure. These cars run best at 30 to 40 ohms. You don't want to try and run these cars with a 120 ohm controller, because all you're going to have is an on and off switch, which I described earlier, especially at 15 volts. There's the Chevy. Last one I'm going to run is this Goat. 67, I think this one is. This one came out real nice, this car. So, that's a nice, raceable, pretty darn fast car, but I can, because I use the right kind of controller, I can make it go, and I can putt around the track. See? It's just kind of out for a Sunday cruise, showing off its candy apple red paint. Kind of like running down Woodward or Gratiot Avenue in Detroit. This is where I'm from. So, I have a few more of those Jag cars, or Jag chassis cars. This one, another Auto World Ford GT. It's got a Jag Hobbies chassis underneath it. And I got another one of these Chevys called I call them the Jetson era, with those wings. Got the shiny blue one. And I got a couple more. But that gives you a good idea on what I've been doing with my Jag Hobbies chassis. And they're a good source. Plus they also got some great wheels and tires and some other stuff there. So check them out, jaghobbies.com. And Jim will take care of you over there. They're a good company to deal with. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed it. That's all I got for today. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.